Good morning, everyone, and welcome to A Bottom Line with Miz, an early edition, Friday morning, the morning after the NFL season opened up, and I wanted to come at people in a different direction. As a New York diehard Giants fan who grew up in the New York City area, I want to tip my cap and show respect to a New York team up in Western New York. Last night, the entire country witnessed what a machine looks like, a well-oiled machine when it's running on all levels. And that's early in the season in week one when most teams are still very rusty. The Buffalo Bills put on a clinic last night. And I believe the Buffalo Bills sent a message to the country. A message that a lot of people already believe in, that the Bills will play in the Super Bowl this February. Last night, they didn't sit back. They didn't come out and relax. It's the first week. Let's try some things. Let's pull in the reins and be a little conservative and just find a way to get the win against the defending world champs in a hostile stadium, which actually turned out there were a ton of Buffalo Bill fans that traveled across the country. And I'll get to that Bills fan base in a minute. No, the Bills came out on the very first drive of the game. Bink, 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 right down the field against what's supposed to be a big-time defense. And they shoved the ball right in the end zone and right up the Rams' throat. And it didn't stop there. And if the Bills don't make 4 turnovers, like we said, week one, rusty, the Bills might have put up a 48 spot last night. The Bills went into the defending champs' home on a night when they got their rings and humiliated them, embarrassed them. And make no mistake about it, the Rams didn't fall off of earth and become a pushover. The Rams are still one of the top teams in this country this year. The Bills took it to them and shoved it right up their ass. All right? Josh Allen looks like a well-oiled machine. And he's throwing lasers that can knock a pigeon out of the air. His accuracy is ridiculous. His velocity. I mean, was he throwing footballs out there last night? Or was he winding up and throwing 90-mile-an-hour baseballs? And damn, the boy has a feel for the pocket. He knows when to move, where to go, and how to do it. And when you're throwing a fadeaway bomb down the field with both feet in the air, not even a foot on the ground, both feet in the air, he's throwing a 50-yard bomb, money, right into Diggs' arms. Touchdown. And let me tell you something. Jalen Ramsey, you have a big mouth. You got lit up to shreds last night. You got embarrassed on your home field. Humiliated. Josh Allen not only picked on you, he bullied you right out of the stadium. And then he turned around and laughed at you on several occasions. So stop running your mouth, Ramsey. You look like a clown last night. One of the best corners in the league. Looked irrelevant all night long. Targeted 7 times, 6 balls caught. How many balls were caught past him deep? 2? Dude. Stop running your lips, man. Just eat a piece of humble pie last night and go back to the chalkboard. Yeah, yo, the Buffalo Bills are for real. They ain't no joke. And let me tell you something about the Buffalo Bills, and I said this already like 2 months ago. This Buffalo Bills train, one track right to the Super Bowl and nobody's stopping them. And you got that right here from The Miz. And I told you this for the last few months, not just the day after. Yeah, it's one game. But let me tell you something. When you watch a team that is oiled up and clicking on all cylinders and has a monster defense pass rush like the Bills do, good luck to the AFC. And I feel bad for the other three teams in the AFC East. Miami, Jets, New England. Because after 20 years of the Patriots dominating and shitting all over that division, now the Jets and Miami got to deal with this Buffalo Bills team. This beast defense and Josh Allen for the next 6, 7, 8 years. Maybe more. Let's call it a decade. You want to know something? I want to tip my cap to the city of Buffalo. That fan base is irate. They are animals. Bills Mafia. They've been waiting a long time. And I don't know a fan base. I mean, there's a couple. But this fan base sticks behind their team. And it's been some heart-wrenching losses over the decades. I mean, there's not a team that will deserve what's coming to them this year. And a city more than Buffalo. I mean, let's go back. 4 straight Super Bowl losses. 2019 to the Giants, a Bills team that dominated the league under Jim Kelly and the new invented no-huddle, hurry-up offense. They ran into Lawrence Taylor, Belichick, Parcells, and the Giants. They lost 20-19 on a field goal that just went wide. 47 yards Norwood. Heart-wrenching loss. They went on to lose 3 more Super Bowls. Okay? 4 in a row. The Music City Miracle, where the Buffalo Bills had the game done and won. And on the final kickoff, the Titans turn around and pull a rabbit out of a hat, throw a ball across the field on the receiving kickoff, where the guy's all alone on his side of the field, and he takes off up the sideline to the end zone. They steal that game from the Bills. Another historic, heart-drenching loss. Last year, the Buffalo Bills had the game won twice. Not one. Twice in the last 2.5 minutes of the game. That game was Buffalo's and they belonged in the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs somehow stole the game out of the night sky. All right? On a 2-pass drive. I believe it was, right? Tight end, Hill. Down the sideline. Something went wrong. And once again, the Bills' history, which has been full of heart-wrenching losses. And that Bills team that didn't win a Super Bowl, 4 straight Super Bowls, you could argue was the greatest team in the NFL history to not win a ring. All right? Star-studded. So many stars on that team. Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers. And then one guy comes to mind. A man that has suffered his entire life. For some reason, God has chosen him to keep on testing him over and over and over and over and over. A guy that I adored as a kid, as a quarterback in football. Loved him to death. Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly, to me, was one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. If he would have got 1 ring, everybody would talk about him all the time. Jim Kelly chose Buffalo. In the beginning he didn't, but then he went there when nobody else wanted to. And that man has suffered so much. He lost a son. He's dealt with cancer like 4 or 5 times. The man keeps overcoming all these tests from God unfairly. I don't know a man in the league that suffered more. All right? He's still standing strong. Jim Kelly's strong. And he still goes to every game. And he's very much a part of that organization. And he lives right around the stadium area. The man stayed in Buffalo his entire life and raised his family there and made Buffalo a home. He's idolized. And there's not a man more in that city that deserves to see a Super Bowl championship and a celebration on Super Bowl night in that town. And I think this is the year they're going to bring the Lombardi back to Western New York for the first time ever. And I'm a Giants fan, but I appreciate what I'm seeing. That team is built, constructed so right, so strong on all sides of the ball. And you know what? That brings me back to the Giants, because Joe Schoen and Daboll very much had a lot to do with the construction of that Bills team and the development of these players. These players on the defense like Russo, Ed Oliver. Bringing in Von Miller was a great free agent signing when you knew you were a final piece away. The safeties. White, the cornerback. I mean, Phillips. You got Phillips and Ed Oliver in the middle of that D-line. No one ever talks about them. That might be one of the top interior defensive lines in football. You got Russo on one side, who to me is an absolute stud, a monster, and Von Miller on the other side, a lock Hall of Famer who will be attempting to go for his 3rd Super Bowl ring. And he ain't just along for the ride, man. Because last night you saw how much the Rams miss him. 2 sacks in his first game. What is he headed for, 13, 14 sacks? I don't see the motor slowing down. And the leadership he brings to that front 7. Josh Allen, right now, is the best quarterback in the NFL. The man is not a human. Fastball, ridiculous. Accuracy on the money. He gets it. And one of those interceptions was right off the receiver's hands where the defender stole it out of his hands. That should have been caught. He put that in there so hard that maybe the receiver had to defend himself. That's how fast it was coming. And you know what? Joe Schoen helped build this team. And that excites me, because I like the players that Joe Schoen's already drafted for the Giants in his first season. He's got some cleaning up to do from the mess that was left, and I believe he's the right guy. And he builds through the draft, and then he will add a big piece or two when it's ready. Don't judge the Giants this year on wins, because you're not going to be happy about it. Judge them on how the team plays and grows as the year goes on. A lot of kids on this team, the 3rd youngest team in the NFL, I believe. And look, man, for some of you fans out there that keep on thinking Daniel Jones is going to be Josh Allen, stop that shit. You're embarrassing yourself. Daniel Jones is not even in Josh Allen's world. Not even a pimple on his ass. A matter of fact, Daniel Jones and Wilson for the Jets, you could put them both together and they wouldn't add up to me to like 35% of what Josh Allen is. And I don't care who's scheming the plays and who's the offensive coordinator and the coach. I don't care, man. Josh Allen's don't come around often. And this guy has grown into something special. And I'm sorry. I'm a Giants fan. And on Sunday, I will be rooting for Daniel Jones. I like the guy. I love him. He busts his ass and he tries. But he ain't no Josh Allen. And he ain't got it like that. So you could positively try to motivate your brain into thinking as positive as you want. I'm one of the biggest diehard fans. And I love this team. This ain't the year for the Giants. It's a growing year. And Daniel Jones is not a Josh Allen. And he's not even in the same planet as a Josh Allen. And when you try to compare the two, you make yourself look foolish. Alright? I think Jones can have a good year this year. But all eyes are on the next quarterback class, whether you like it or not. That's only being real. You be real with yourself. Don't sit here and give me all this blah, 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 blah about Daniel Jones and the Giants are going to win 12 games this year. Stop that. Because you don't believe that yourself. So I get wanting to be positive. But don't come out of Sunday all destroyed if the Giants lose a game that they're probably supposed to lose in Tennessee against an experienced veteran team that's a very physical team, and no one talks about the games over there in their home. Yo, I'm a realistic man. I know we're a year away from some things. Some people don't. They want to go into the season believing the Giants can win the division this year. Yo, shock me. Go ahead. Win the division. Shock the Miz. But you know what? What makes me angry is with some of these Giant fans. A lot of these Giant fans. You don't have to be negative. You can be positive going into the season and root for the team this Sunday hard. Stand on your feet and go nuts. You'll see some good things. But what bothers me is you look at the schedule and you got this is a win, that is a win. Hey, we're going to win over there in Dallas. Dude, stop it. Because what do you think those teams are saying when they see the Giants on their schedule? Think. Take off the happy feet and put on your business shoes and be real. Hey, you never know in the NFL on any given Sunday, right? But overall, you got to be real. You watched two teams last night. And I'll throw in both New York teams. As a good friend of mine, Buko, said, you watched these two teams last night. And our two teams in New York aren't even playing football compared to what you watched last night. We're playing park ball with little boys on the block. Those are two big boy men teams in the NFL at the top of the league. And we got some work to do to get there. And when I say work, that means another year or two of drafting and maybe restructuring the roster through free agency, but mostly drafting. Once again, I take my hats off. The Buffalo Bills impressed me. I expected it, but I didn't expect it in week 1 in the Champions' home on that type of level. The Buffalo Bills are a train to be reckoned with. And it wouldn't shock me 14, maybe even 15 wins this year. I got them winning the Super Bowl. I don't care who goes in the NFC. And that's a bottom line with Miz.